Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Oh, we have another great show for you tonight, so let's get it started. We have to start with the New England Patriots. I just so excited about the draft. We've got $100 million sitting in the bank.
We are the Jets.
We are
Like
the
you said,
Jets.
we are the Jets.
Rumors flying about. I mean, are you guys already? Well, we start, of course, with the Professor Russ. Russ, are you sick and tired of hearing the words Drake May? Oh my God, look at this. Oh, that was Drake May. What was that? That was kind of
You're the
fun.
chairman of the board now.
The three people
I
that
was
have
just
the
checking
three-
something. You guys are giving me a chairman a boardroom vibe, so I
the
just
three,
figured
the three
it
people
was.
watching are very confused right now.
Can you put us in Italy right now?
I probably could. I could probably put us anywhere we need to go.
Oh, that was great. Look, Russ, are you getting sick of the words, proper nouns, Drake May and Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, it's gonna be the same segment, run over and over again for like another entire month.
Yeah.
Is who's it going to be and who would they take? And the bottom line is they don't control their own fate really, so they won't really know until they're on the clock what's going to happen, and they're going to need to have scenario A, scenario B, scenario C fleshed out depending on who falls to them.
Joe, if you're trying to, like Elliot Wolf, trying to get the GM position, it's probably in your best interest not to trade down because there's no trading down.
Bob Kraft wants him to draft a quarterback. Same
Right.
as
Would you
Mac
agree,
Jones,
Joe,
yeah.
that trading down maybe in the long term is a positive move, but in the short term, not a positive, not
yeah.
positive,
yeah.
negative?
I agree wholeheartedly. And I'm starting to fall, I'm patient. I've been a fan for, what is it now, 64 years. And I can wait a year or two. I don't mind trading down if they don't think Drake May or Jalen Daniels is the man of the future for them. I don't want just a mediocre quarterback. I want someone who can lead them to, playoff season after playoff season. And
Timmy,
if they can't trade down and get some more capital.
Timmy, we didn't root so hard at the last 8 to 10 games of making that to hope they would lose to trade down.
Well, the only way that I wouldn't freak out is if they got, if they traded down and that got them 3 picks in the top 30.
That's not going to happen. No team has 2 first-round picks. But no, except maybe the Bears, right? The Bears?
I think
the Bears,
the Bears
I think the Bears do.
Maybe 2 this year and 1 next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, if they were to, if they
Scott, because we have a lot of holes to fill.
I know, but look, Drew Bledsoe.
But Scotty, let me give you a scenario, because there's a long time between now and then. Say
6 weeks.
They go to the pro days and Caleb Williams and Jalen Daniels do really well. And there's some wishy-washy stuff coming out on Drake May. His footwork's a mess. He's not accurate. He's a guy who you draft, but you'd have to keep him on the bench for at least a year, maybe 2 years. And you're the Patriots and you're sitting at number 3. What do you do at that point in time?
Well, I think it hurts your bargaining position if you are going to trade, because then there isn't that, because obviously the rest of the league is going to see.
You're Elliot Wolf. I'm making you Elliot Wolf right now. And you're Elliot Wolf. And you're not convinced that Drake May's the guy. What do you do?
And if the rest of the league may not be convinced either, if another team's not trying to go up and willing to give me a king's ransom for the 3rd pick, I draft Marvin Harrison, best player in the draft, and then figure it out from there. Go maybe second round. Now you got your wide receiver, and the second round, if you had slotted for a wide receiver, that's where you're trying to get your quarterback or moving up a little bit. Remember, we have I think we have the 2nd pick in the 2nd round. Because
is that right? Yeah, you might be right.
So I think we have the 34th pick. Maybe you go, like Timmy said, go back into the 1st round if you can get a quarterback that you like.
Yeah, I don't see, I know the fans and the owner are going to want a quarterback, but like Tim says, there's a lot of holes to fill. They don't have any tight ends right now. They don't have any starting tackles right now. I know they signed a couple of
I
guys
know, but
today.
that's no.
But
We
they're,
need
they're
sexy,
just
Joe.
fill up.
Come on, Joe.
So okay, but here's a variation. I'm going to give you another scenario, Scotty. So like May's good enough. It's not a bad look for May, and you know that the Giants are just desperate. They're at number
Yeah.
6. They're desperate to move up. They want to take Drake May, and they're offering you 6 this year. Their top second round pick and a first next year, and you're sitting there saying we could move down to 6. We could pick the second best wide receiver, and there's some really good wide receivers, or the best offensive lineman, and have enough capital to trade as far up into the first round as we need to pick the first of the second tier quarterbacks. Do you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. If everybody
And now they're
you could
saying
fall in
Marvin
line.
Harrison will be there at 6, Scotty.
No, I know he's not going to be.
I doubt
No,
that. Yeah,
no,
I
no
doubt
way.
that.
People will want, just the way it's falling right now is people would want the edge rusher and the tackle before, because
So Scotty,
you
if
could
you
get one
came
of those
out
wide receivers.
if you came out of the draft with the second best wide receiver, and let's say JJ McCarthy, or whatever one they had rated highest as the
Bo
top of the
Nix
next
or
tier, would you be
Penix.
happy? In another first round pick next year, would you be happy?
No, I need a star. I need to come out of this with a superstar.
Okay.
No, I mean,
All right. That's
seriously.
fair.
We gave you Mac Jones. Wasn't
No, I
that
need
enough
no
to
way. I know
satisfy?
I need sexy. I mean, look, this franchise was saved in the 90s by Drew Bledsoe. We're going to be having this conversation. Should we trade down? I don't even know what the rest of that draft looked like. I need sexy. And if it's not going to be again, if it's going to be a couple of years waiting for Drake May, then we need to wait that and go and have Jacoby Brissett make us 6 and 11.
By the way,
No,
I'm with you. That's where I am.
I'm almost glad we don't have that first pick for this kid from USC. He seems to be a little off the wall, him and his father.
Yeah, but then again, Timmy, that's a great
But
point.
it's a lot of talent there too.
But we said that about
I
the
know.
balls. We said nobody was more annoying than the ball father. And look, it ends up calming down at some point, as we saw. And then next thing you know, obviously LaMelo is a superstar. Lonzo an incredible player. So maybe this guy just, he doesn't know how to handle the scene right now. But he's clearly the most talented guy.
And wouldn't Washington love him where he's from DC?
Well, yeah. Oh, well, Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a DC guy.
Yeah.
Washington DC.
Oh, I didn't know he was a DC guy. Okay.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
Wouldn't the Commanders with the new owner love to go up and make that trade?
Well, Magic, because he was a USC guy, Magic and the LA connection, he would love to also go up there too. I again, another scenario, Russ, and all that. Do you go and trade a 3rd round pick for Justin Fields? Go get Marvin.
I don't think I do that. I
And
don't think I
then-
do that, only because of the salary stuff that you're going to have to pay. If Fields works out, you're going to have to pay him a bleep ton of money next year. And
Next
I
year's
just think
25
like at that,
Well, he's only
25
$3
million.
million next year.
no,
He's
but the
25
following
million a year after, right?
Yeah, 25
Yeah,
million.
it's going to get very heavy duty, Scotty. So like all of the real advantage in the NFL is to have a really good rookie quarterback on a rookie wage scale for 5 years. That's like I got another scenario for you, Timmy and Scott. So they don't trade down, but they fall in love. The Patriots fall in love with Jalen Daniels, and they trade up to number 2. And would you give up your first round pick next year to trade up to number 2?
Not a chance. No.
Well,
But you
that's
love
what
the
it would
guy.
take.
Like you've decided he's your quarterback of the future. That's the guy we want.
I'm not
You
giving
wouldn't
up
do
the
that?
first pick next year. That could be top 10, most likely. No way. No chance. No, I'm not doing that
Timmy,
at all.
Timmy, he's your guy. He's the guy you think you could quarterback you for the next 10 years.
Russell, I think it's a great question. Because the kid has shown flashes of some tremendous stuff. That's a lot, though. That's a king's ransom to give up. But because Most likely, we're going to be in a similar drafting position next year. I'm guessing.
I don't know. They've got a lot of salary cap money. They could sign a couple guys. They got a great defense. They go,
Boy,
8 and 9.
that's a tough.
They go 8 and 9. They get the 12th pick next year, Scotty.
You're making me nervous. You're making me nervous.
Why not do it? I mean, like someone like you think he's a franchise quarterback, you got to do it. Brady was worth 10 first-round picks.
Do you think that's what it would take?
Exactly.
Do you think that's what it would take to move up one spot? I mean, is it worth?
Yep. It took
I think
Chicago
it would-
3 to get Trubisky moving up one spot from
one
3 to
spot.
Why
2.
would the Commanders do
spot.
that? Why would the Commanders do that?
Maybe the
If they
Commanders
like
have-
Drake May.
Maybe they like Drake May just
But then
about
they're gonna
as
take
equally
Drake
as-
May then.
Or the Commanders trade up with the Bears to get Caleb Williams.
No, then they're
Right.
going to take Drake May. Then
Maybe
Then why-
not. Maybe they sit there and they duped you, and they're saying they're going to take Daniels, and they dupe you into giving up.
Like Danny
Bye.
Ainge did with Jason Tatum, right? I mean,
Exactly right, Timmy. Perfect analogy.
Oh, you make me nervous.
Scotty, like if you think this guy's your quarterback for 10 years, you give up next year's first round pick in a
I mean,
minute.
if
In a
you
minute.
if you think he's the guy like Baltimore's quarterback,
Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson.
So
Lamar
you're saying that
Jackson.
you think Jaden Daniels is better than Caleb Williams?
I
don't
don't
know.
We're
I
If
not
you don't
saying
think
that.
and you're going down that road, Russ, that very scary, dark road, then I'm going up to number 1. If I think Williams is the man,
Every week you
It
proclaim
would
your
take
never
3
end-
number ones
Hang
to
on a
get to
minute.
number 1.
Every week, Scotty proclaims his everlasting love for Daniels. It's all he wants. He wants the Lamar Jackson 2.0.
absolutely.
I'm just seeing what price does Scotty's never-ending love.
I don't know.
Also, do you stay up at night thinking of ways to torture Scott?
No,
I
I'm just
don't
like
know.
I'm just asking him a
Oh
question.
my
Like
God.
His
you're
head's
in love with
exploding.
I like
I
it. Scotty's
totally
not going to be able to
exploding.
sleep for 3 nights now. You know that, right?
Oh my God.
Now you planted this seed.
Oh my.
I mean,
I don't know.
seriously.
I don't know. I
And
need to think
3
about-
number ones to trade up for Caleb Williams. would
I'm
be
just
the
saying
cost to go
one
to
number
3 to
1
1.
next year, Scotty. Just one next year.
But you know that's going to be a top 10 pick.
Maybe, maybe not. They have a
I
really
think-
good defense. You tell me every week what a great defense
They do
the
have a
Patriots
great
have.
defense.
Every
comes in
week
and-
you
maybe
come on.
maybe he comes in and tears up the league. You know,
Right.
like,
Maybe Daniels and leads them to an 8 and 9 record and they have the 11th pick. Great. Mazel tov. Number 11. Who cares?
Yeah. You're Atlanta.
Oh my
You're
God. All right,
Atlanta.
we're doing it. Because did we to get rid of to sign Belichick, didn't we give up like the 20th pick in the draft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. If you think this guy's the quarterback for you for 10 years, you
You
give
know what,
up 2
Russell?
first-round picks.
Oh, you push
I-
all your
I-
chips in.
I'd do one pick. I'd do next year's pick. I would.
Yeah.
If I'm
All
that
right.
in love with the guy. If I'm that in love
And
with
if
I'm
they're
not giving
that
him
in
like
love
this-
with Caleb Williams, you give up 3 first picks.
Look,
Go from
my
3 to
takeaway
1.
from this
That,
conversation,
Joe.
my
Come on.
takeaway from this conversation is Scott is not quite first round pick in love with Daniels. That's it.
He's
That's
not
just
a
the limit to his
quarterback
love.
guy.
I don't know.
Limited to his love.
I don't know if I have.
You know,
the cojones to make that
May's
pick.
is it May's stock going up a little bit these days?
Well, it's
all over
Twitter.
the place.
It's Twitter news noise.
Yeah.
None of us
Here.
all over
know
the place.
who
It's-
those 3.
It's all these phony rumors that come out every 5 seconds that, it's like the Patriots are now soured on May. They love May. Look, I don't want anything to do with May. There's no question about it. He reminds me of Mitch
Really?
Trubisky. I don't care. I heard he's a stiff.
Well, they both come from North Carolina. That's about the only thing I'd.
Never been a good quarterback that's come out of North Carolina, ever. Ever. How's that possible?
Roman Gabriel.
Okay. All right.
That's why we keep Joe around right there.
All right, Joe. All
But,
right, you got me on that one.
recently, you're very, very right. The guy that
Roman
started for the
Gabriel.
Commanders.
When
last
you
year
don't
was
know
North
whether a
Carolina.
guy is dead or alive, you can't
Yeah.
throw his name out on this.
Oh, I used to hear. I was a
Podcast.
big fan of him. I
I'm
love
pretty
Roman
sure
Gabriel.
in the universe, Roman Gabriel has not been mentioned at all for the last 30 years, and you've just brought
Well,
him
that was
back
the
to
last
life.
time the Rams were good with the fearsome foursome and them.
Okay,
What
Joe.
about Kenny
I
Stabler?
do
What
know
about
the
Kenny
answer to
Stabler?
what by the way, just for the
Before
record, I do
Christ.
know I do know the answer to whether Roman Gabriel is dead or alive. We'll do it at the end of the show. We'll reveal it.
I got no idea.
That's our trivia contest. All right, but look, we clearly we have lots of money to spend. Okay.
Mhm.
You could spend it on a quarterback. You could try to go
Mhm.
get Baker Mayfield if you wanted to. I know Mike Evans signed with them and they're trying to bring the band back, but do you throw a huge bag at Mayfield? It's and still draft a quarterback, and now the pressure's not on this guy for a couple of years.
I don't think he can, because now he's going to want years. We only want to sign a guy, a bridge guy, for like 3 years, right? We don't want an 8-year contract with Baker Mayfield or with Cousins, and they're going to want a lot of years.
Timmy, nobody's throwing 8 years at Baker Mayfield. There's not a chance in the hell that they're doing that, right?
Yeah, let's give them
I
5.
don't know. I don't know. It's crazy out there. I mean, it's insane. Did anyone know that Otani was going to get $700 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Russell,
Mhm.
the Russell Wilson, which is Russell Wilson's signing and trade the worst deal
Yeah.
in the history? Is it worse than Herschel Walker?
Yeah, I think I mean, you don't know how badly it'll damage them. So, but on its face, I mean, his extension hasn't even started yet, guys. His
Yeah.
extension starts next year.
But they
Is it
gave up
guaranteed? How much of it is guaranteed? Is it all guaranteed?
A lot of it.
39 million this year.
He's talking. He's going to sign for the league minimum, and make because then there'd be no offset language.
They gave up like 2 first rounds, a couple of
Yeah.
second rounds, and a number of quality players, plus signed him to a $245 million extension.
Yeah.
They now cut him and are
Yeah.
going to take the most incredible luxury, the salary cap hits,
Dead money.
double that has ever been hit before. And the second person was Russell Wilson.
If that
No,
doesn't
he was
give
5th.
every
He's 5th.
if that doesn't
First
give
and
every
5th.
NFL owner pause on signing some of these veterans floating around on the market, I don't know what does.
Yeah, you're paying for past performance. Like whenever you pay for past
Yeah.
performance instead of future likelihood, you really get yourself wound up. And they got desperate. And I mean, that thing just felt bad from the second it was signed. Like you kind of knew how that story would end.
Yeah.
So, okay, Joe, but like you could get Russell Wilson for the minimum next year.
Yeah.
Do you do that if you're the Patriots?
And I would draft May Daniels, whoever fell to me, and I would get Russell and tell him, look, 2 or 3 years, and then we'll see what happens. Maybe May will come take the job from him, like Russell took the job from, who was it, Nick Foles?
Mhm.
Went there. Oh,
Yeah, I don't
Matt
want Wilson near this organization. What I saw last year was as bad as I've ever seen.
He had great numbers last year. He just got benched because he wouldn't take the
Oh,
he
Joe,
wouldn't make the salary move.
wasn't he absolutely horrible? From
You
the
know,
games
he
I
had
watched,
like
he was
20
horrible.
he had like 20 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
I think he had a 98 rating.
Yeah,
I think
he was good.
game
They benched him because he wouldn't. They had to make a payment if he was on the roster.
I remember that.
That's
yeah.
why they benched him.
well, the turning point of their season, they were going to be in the playoffs, was the game that we beat them. That
Yep.
was it
Yeah.
for Russell Wilson.
And he was horrendous against us.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Yeah, but look,
That's why maybe I have this feeling
That
he's
field
so
goal
terrible.
into the night though killed Scotty.
Because he was
Oh.
terrible against the Patriots. Terrible.
look,
He,
they don't want to
you
do it.
know, he
Well,
ended
the
up with a
second half,
decent.
as I recall, he led them back into the game. They were down 3 scores, and the game ended on the final play.
I don't know. I wouldn't base it too much on one game. I think I wouldn't really let him near the organization, Tim, though, either. And I think it's just more attitude. I think I would rather have, honestly, Jacoby Brissett as a bridge 1-year quarterback. Somebody who has a
mind
lot
him.
of humility, knows that his job is to train the next generation of quarterbacks, go out and help you win 6 or 7 games. That seems fine to me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's
Another
got a
guy
great
from North
personality.
Carolina.
Though it would be his beautiful wife, I wouldn't mind seeing every week. That she's incredible looking.
Oh
But,
yeah, I never saw her.
Now I'm gonna have
what's her
to
name?
Google.
What is it? Ciara or something? She's a singer.
Sierra.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know who you mean.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
she is
yeah,
really
she's pretty
good.
incredible. Yeah, he's got a good life. That guy, and he's going to be given $40 million not to play football. I mean, look, it's going to be very interesting. Is it Elliot Wolf's job right now to win or lose? I mean, right now,
Certainly seems like
is he
it.
on a
Yeah.
tryout?
Yeah, but like, how do you know? I mean, Joe, you talk about this all the time. Like, you're not going to know how Elliot Wolf did in this draft until 3 years from now, 2 to 3 years from now.
Right.
Right.
Right. So this is all media speculation.
Yeah.
The job has either been already been offered to him. It might be
I agree.
he's the one that's got cold feet. It might have another iron in the fire.
Could be. Yeah. Could be. Good point.
Timmy, does Jonathan or Bob have any input in this draft, do you think, as opposed to the no input they had with Belichick?
I don't know if they had no input. Like I think Matt Jones was Kraft's
That was
guy.
Bob Kraft all the way.
I think Kraft kept hands up, but they were in a desperate situation. This town was begging for a quarterback, Matt Jones. We were all jumping through hoops when he got picked. If they're smart, they'll stay out of it. But will they? I don't. I could see Jonathan sticking his nose in there.
Russell, do you really believe that Bob Kraft made Bill draft Mac Jones?
No, I don't.
I don't believe that either. No way.
I think he
All of a
knows.
sudden, yeah.
But Mac Jones played
Then
for
who
for-
did? Belichick has
Mac
already
Jones,
said he did.
hang on. Matt Jones played for Belichick's best buddy, Nick Saban, won him a national championship.
Yeah.
I mean,
Belichick knew he sucked.
Didn't they say
Well,
Saban
I
warned
don't
him
know
about
about that.
Mac Jones? Saban like really wasn't saying nice things about Mac Jones.
No, never has.
If-
Called him the tennis player.
by the way, if Bill Belichick didn't want to draft Mac Jones, all he needed to do was trade the pick.
Right.
all he
Well,
had to
no,
do.
no. He said they asked me to be more collaborative.
Yeah, I know, but like he tells, it's like we can't pass that trade up. These guys called us. They wanted to move up, and they gave us a overvalue for the pick. He could have. Ultimately, Bill Belichick is a big boy. He chose Mac Jones. His seat wasn't hot yet. It was
No
2 years
question.
ago, 3 years ago. He wasn't even under the hot seat yet.
4 years ago.
And
Yeah,
again, Mac
so-
Jones played well. He played well in
He
his
did.
rookie season.
For
I
year
mean,
one.
I don't
exactly.
know. Go back and look at that second half of that season.
But at the end of that season, Joe, we were all saying Mac Jones looks like a kind of guy who could be the quarterback for the Patriots
He
for the
had
next
something
5
to
years.
build on.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to be a franchise guy, but he
Right.
had something to build on.
Right.
Belichick didn't screw that pickup. Belichick screwed Mac Jones up.
Yes.
I still don't buy. Belichick has pretty much said he didn't make the pick and he didn't want to make the pick.
Mm,
And his
I don't
best
know.
friend would have told him that a guy he spends a couple of weeks with every year.
Well, then Belichick turns around and says to Kraft, Saban just told me this guy's a pinhead. I'm not taking
Yeah.
this. You
And
really
then
want-
Bob Kraft says, "I'm the owner, and we need a
Yeah,
quarterback. The fans want
doubt
a
it.
quarterback."
I just don't believe it. I don't think his seat was hot enough at the time to have Kraft demand that he drafted.
And there might have been like two guys in the like Grow or someone else that were backing Kraft. And so he
Maybe.
said,
You might be
I'm
right about
collaborating."
that.
Look, Belichick's mistake in that draft was he loved Parsons. He should have had the balls to trade up and
Yeah,
get
right.
him. And because he never wanted to put himself in a situation where Bob is whispering in his ear.
50% of these quarterbacks fail even when they're the top 5 pick. It's not a surprise that Mac Jones failed. I'm sorry. Half of them don't pan out.
Yeah.
Probably
A lot
2
of
out
guys
of the 3 of these 3 won't pan out.
Exactly.
And the guys picked it in front of Mac didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Zach Wilson, Trey Lance.
Zach
Justin
Wilson
was a
Fields.
disaster.
He's the second pick in the draft, and the Jets said, any deal you can make is fine with us right now.
Right.
Player to be named later.
Who
Sam
gave away
Fran
the
gave
most
up
in that
like
game?
3 first-round picks to get up to
Yeah,
Trey Lance.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Before we go leave the Patriots, have you guys been watching the Dynasty on Apple TV?
I have not.
I
Gonna,
didn't get the
watched the
last two, the 5 and 6.
Yeah, I watched the first, I don't know, like 3, and I kind of lost interest. I don't think it's that good.
No,
It's
it's
boring.
not good at all. In fact, episode 5, no, 6 was about Aaron Hernandez. We need to do, and then apparently 7 is going to be about Deflategate.
Yeah,
They
like-
spent 2.5 seconds on the back-to-back Super Bowl
Right.
titles. It
Yeah,
literally did
yeah,
not
the
even-
03 and 04 Super Bowls.
Spending an hour episode on Aaron Hernandez, like that's a 60 minutes episode, in and out, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like who? That's a 60-minute segment. Who the hell cares? Like you're telling the story of this dynasty, and to your point, Scotty, they skip the second and third ones and they give Aaron Hernandez an hour.
is
What's
that
the
why
point?
I'm seeing all this Aaron Hernandez news recently? Because
Yeah.
of that?
Yeah.
Because
All of a
all
sudden
the
he's
media people have already seen the whole 10.
all of a
There's
sudden
a
he's on
Netflix
his
documentary
name's popping up everywhere. You know.
If you need Aaron Hernandez fix, there's a Netflix documentary which I've
Right.
seen, which is very good
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
very extensive. But you think this? Look, Belichick's coming off really bad, and the Crafts are coming off really good in this documentary. Was this a hit piece? A continued hit
Well,
piece?
it was produced by Kraft Dynasty LLC. You know, they're the ones producing it. They're not
Yeah.
going to badmouth themselves.
Yeah, and to me, Joe, this was Kraft's Hall of Fame grab. Like I want to make the Hall of
Right.
Fame while I'm still alive. And if I can sort of inflate my role in the dynasty and deflate Belichick's role a little bit, then maybe I get a shot at the Hall of Fame in the next 3 years.
It's his Jerry Jones imitation. is
Yeah.
what it
Just so
comes
you know,
down to.
boys, which I've never heard before until that Jonathan Kraft is the one who told Belichick, demanded that Aaron Hernandez get cut.
Hmm.
It wasn't Bob, it was Jonathan, because I guess
Yeah.
Bob was out of the country. He told Bill to cut Hernandez. This is what this documentary has become.
Yeah.
We're now okay. Just so you know, Jonathan hasn't been asleep the last 25 years.
Listen, if Hernandez had not been taken away in shackles, he would have been on the field until his body wore out.
Yes, I agree.
Yes,
He
yes.
was too
That's-
good. He was too good, and he was tearing up the league for anyone to put him on the sideline.
Yeah.
Buddy, I didn't see it, but didn't they say didn't Bob Kraft go to him and say, I got the best lawyers for you? and
Yes.
everything?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take care of you.
And if you did it, I'm sure you had a good reason to do it.
Yes, that's the quote. That's the
Honestly,
quote.
to be honest with you, the one that I mean, there's only one person left to speak. Brady did his, Kraft is doing his. I cannot wait for Belichick's memoir or series because this is the guy who knows. He knows why he benched Malcolm Butler. He knows what went into the Brady Bledsoe decision.
But he won't. He won't do it.
Oh, I don't know, Joe. This guy loves NFL history. He's not going to let Kraft get away with this. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I know. Do you see NFL Films is furious with Kraft?
Yeah,
because he's
they made
using their
Belichick
stuff,
look like an ass. Right.
They don't like the way it was done.
No, Belichick
Okay.
will do a memoir for sure. There's
Timmy,
no
Or
doubt
maybe
about it.
through NFL Films he will, but that's the
Maybe.
only way.
Timmy, will Billy Boy be coming back for any ceremonies? Because it feels to me like he's not going to.
I know they're not really letting him leave gracefully.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, they all that's the way all these teams do. They as soon as you're out the door, the knives come out and stab you in the back.
Well,
Look
the
at
Red
the way,
Sox are
you know-
infamous for doing that. That's
Yeah,
true.
well, Francona, Belichick, Cassidy. I mean,
They'll
Doc,
be back.
they-
Who's
they-
kidding who?
yeah.
I
They'll
don't
be
see the
back.
need. I don't see the need for the Patriots to do that. Why couldn't they just let him go on his merry way and say thank you very much?
Because Kraft is desperate to get into the Hall of Fame before he
Yes.
dies. I mean, look,
He's
it's just
been
so
turned
obvious
down
what's
twice.
going on here.
No,
Yeah.
you're right, Russell. Absolutely. Yeah. He'd write a $1 billion check to guarantee that he's in the Hall of Fame right now.
And
he's
how
gonna
old
start-
is Bob now? He's 88, is he?
82,
No.
83.
No.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
not that old. I thought he was older, but
He's just the same age as Leela because they went to high school together.
okay.
All right, we're going to the Boston Celtics. We had an 11-game winning streak. It was time to lose, But was it really time to lose when you have a 21-point lead with 9 minutes left in the
I'll
game?
just say something. I'm listening to Felger and Maz, right? Listening to Felger, you would
Mistake
have thought
number one.
you would have thought. I know. I mean, I turned it off for 30 seconds, right? You would have thought the Celtics lost the last 15 games.
I know.
Yeah, in
And
the
that was
grand
the
scheme of
impression.
things, that wasn't an
If-
important game, but it was an ugly way to lose with that.
But if you just tuned in for the 30 seconds I tuned in, you would have thought the Celtics lost. You know, we're like last place in the league.
Yeah.
And they hadn't just
Here's
had a bunch
here's
of
the
great
thing,
shots.
guys. I totally agree, Tim. 20-point leads in the NBA today go like that. They just
I
do.
was at the Celtics the other night, and an 11-point lead went away in like 40 seconds.
Yeah.
It was three misses, 3 threes, and boom, it was the tie game again.
Who the hell is
I do
Dean
think there's
Wade?
exactly, Joe. I do think there is one important point of that game, and we'll get to it. But the reason why the Celtics lost that game is that Dean Wade outscored them 20-17 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yes. But and then
Do you know how many? By the way, do you know how many points Dean Wade scored last night in an entire game?
he was 1 for 6.
3,
I
1
know.
for 6. Like
Yeah,
Dean Wade's never gonna. That's never gonna happen again in Dean Wade's life. And I'm talking about Nerf basketball with his grandchildren. 15
So if you say, I'm going to sit back
And the
and
worst
I'm going
thing
to
was the winning basket when he went right through Tatum and Porzingis, who were loafing under the basket instead of boxing out and jammed it home.
We're going to take the chance that Dean Wade is going to beat us. Who would take that chance, right?
Yeah, well, I could see that, but then what about on that last basket where he got the offensive rebound and jammed it home?
Yeah,
because
Holiday
they forgot
fell
to
asleep.
box out.
Holiday fell asleep.
Russell,
Yeah,
you mentioned
they're entitled to have a bad night.
You mentioned it during our thread about the game, is that the Celtics were phoning it in, but isn't it great that they happen to have a big lead while phoning it in?
You can see it.
And
You can see it all night. Yeah.
So they
Wasn't the
continue
ending
to quote it.
reminiscent of 2022 and 2023? All the close games in those years.
Yeah,
you know,
I
where
mean,
that
Tatum
stupid fall away
dribbling,
jump up
dribbling.
from Tatum that doesn't connect.
The step back to win the game and misses, right?
Hey, look, had they won that game, we wouldn't have thought twice about it. So we can't really think twice about it had they lost the game.
Look,
But it was an
Timmy,
ugly loss.
Timmy, to your point, what they're doing in the last shot situations is simply not working. And this is not just
I agree.
this year. It's this year, last year, the year before. They can't do it anymore. And the press asked Maz after the game, what do you want to happen in that situation? And he said, I want to go faster so that we have multiple shots at it. And the exact opposite thing happened on the court. There's a disconnect between what the players are doing and what the coach wants. So he either needs to call a timeout or he needs to tell Tatum that the next time you walk the ball up the court when we're down by a point in the last shot, I'm going to bench you. I'm going to call a timeout and I'm going to put you on the bench because it's not what this team wants.
No, and not what they need either. They have 5 guys on that court who are capable of taking that shot.
That's right.
When are they at their best? When they're moving the ball. When are they at their worst? When Tatum goes into this isolation thing.
Yeah.
That's why Pizzulla should have called a timeout. Got the ball into White Holiday's hands and let them create an opportunity, whether it be for Tatum, Brown, for themselves. But you're better off with over 10 seconds left. Call a timeout, get the ball in a guard's hand.
There is an argument to not call timeout, Joe, and that is their defense, so that they can swap someone in for Garland. Yeah. So I'm not even that concerned about a timeout. It's just like Tatum should know by now that what the coach wants and what the entire team is based on is to move fast into your action on the last shot, so that if you miss it, you get another chance. You can foul. And he didn't go into the action until 4 seconds left. You can't do it.
Yeah.
What is it like? Is it like NBA?
Missoula tried to call a timeout at like 5 seconds, but they wouldn't.
Is it an NBA like decree that the star of the team has to take the final shot? It seems like they have to take the final shot.
It's kind of an unwritten rule sometimes.
I know.
Yeah.
But the reason down of this is that Tatum's doing this not only in close games in the fourth quarter, but he's doing it at the end of every quarter. So this needs to stop, and it's unsuccessful.
It needs to stop.
And maybe this loss really just expounds the fact that statistically he's literally almost over taking the last
He is.
shot.
So
I would
4-7
have a
this year.
problem seeing Derek White take the final shot.
I don't
Just
even
the
have a
ball
problem,
rotation.
Timmy. I
care
don't
with
even have a
anyone.
problem, Timmy, with Tatum taking a shot. I just don't want him dribbling until there's 4 seconds left in the clock
Yeah.
and taking a fadeaway from 18 feet.
Yeah. It
Because
has to stop.
everyone in the park knows that's what he's doing.
Yeah,
That's right.
Even if he'd gotten into position early and taken it with 6 seconds left, KP's putback would have been good.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, this was a good lesson to learn. Early game in March in Cleveland. They may
Yep.
hopefully turn back to this game and said, this is the turning point as far as the attitude toward, because there's going to be a late second shot that's going to decide this game.
Of course,
This
absolutely.
season.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, up to this point, they've been pretty good with in close games this season. They had been. That was the first one that harkened back to last season and the season
I mean,
before.
this season with 6 minutes left, they put their foot on the gas and they pull away. Typically,
Yeah.
But you guys are confident with all starting 5 taking a last shot.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, any one of them.
Isn't that
Any one of
nice? We didn't.
Well, that's why I
Yeah.
wanted call the timeout, put it in White Holiday's hands. They'll make sure the right person gets the
one
shot.
thing I would get nervous about is the ball in Brown's hands and him getting fouled. I don't like him at the foul line.
It's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Especially under pressure.
And
Since
that
the
is one of the,
1986 team, I could have asked that question since then. Would you be confident in the starting 5 taking the last
No.
shot?
right.
Even the 2008 team, you would have said, no, I don't want Perkins
Perkins.
taking the last
No.
shot.
Rondo.
Right. So right, exactly. So this shows you how extraordinary this team is.
Well, let's even expand it, Scotty. Would you be comfortable if Horford took the last shot?
no,
Probably.
no,
I would. He's shooting 40% from 3.
I'm
I don't-
fine with Al taking it.
But I think
Yeah.
at the last second, he'd probably someone would.
Would you be
covering him.
okay with Hauser? Would you be okay with Hauser taking an open
Yes.
shot?
I
Yes.
would.
Yes.
no.
I would-
That's
And then
too
my
much
final
pressure.
question, of course, would you be okay with fast
Brett
PP
Pritchard.
taking
No.
a wide
Not
open
a
Hauser
chance.
footer?
No, you guys, you can't. Guys, seriously. I mean, you can't have any like 7th, 8th guy trying to take.
Oh,
the
they're
last
not
shot.
likely
What are
to
you
be
guys
on the
doing?
floor except if in a double overtime where people are fouled out.
I want
But
I need great players taking the last shot. I don't need Marcus Smart. I said it. Taking any last shots. That's what we've been doing the last few years.
yeah,
It's
but I don't
having-
want Tatum double team taking the last shot.
No,
either.
he should be rotating the ball. I
Yes.
tell you something. Holiday, I'd be all set. That kid, he feels like DJ
From
to
the
me
corner?
too. I'm all set with him taking it. And
That
my-
has
my-
DJ
my
vibe
top-
to him.
My top last second shooters are Pritchard, Hauser, Horford, and then Holiday.
How about what's the other guy? Kai what? The big dude. in the
Kyrie?
middle?
Are you
Oh,
gonna say
Cornet.
those
You-
words?
No, who's
Cornet.
the big dude in the middle?
Oh, Kata.
Cornet.
Oh, yeah, Scotty would love
Kata.
Kata to take
I
the
love
last shot.
Kata.
Yeah.
Oh no, but no, this
Kata's
is
not
breaking news.
playing right now.
Breaking news from the Grandstanders live desk. I have a new Celtics crush, and both
Ooh,
me
Tillman?
and Joe Mazzulla
Tillman.
sharing this.
Tillman.
His name's exactly Xavier Tillman. If you look far back, if you're sitting in the 300 level at the game, you think he's Al Horford. Seriously, he plays very similar, has very similar the way he moves around the court. This was a fantastic pickup, and all of a sudden, Mazzulla's playing him 15 minutes a game. This guy, and the question
Well,
is,
he didn't play the other night.
Yeah, he was in
interesting.
street
He didn't play
clothes
at all
against
Cleveland, yeah.
Cavaliers.
Yeah.
but, no, I think he was hurt, right? Yeah,
No, he
Was he?
wasn't hurt. You can only dress 13, Scotty.
Yeah.
And they figured they'd go with a
But
smaller one.
Scotty, to your point, more than anything else tonight, other than just no one get injured, what I want to see more than anything else tonight is Tillman for about 10 minutes on Jokic
Yeah.
and just see what can he do against Jokic
Can he tire him
one-on-one,
out?
Yeah.
right?
I can't believe I'm shocked to say this. I think Tillman's in the rotation, playoff rotation.
He might be.
It depends on the matchup, I think. Embiid, yes. Giannis,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Jokic, yes. Smaller centers, maybe no. By the
Yeah,
way, it's
you might
1-0
be right.
Bruins.
Timmy, Luke Cornett.
We know it's going into overtime, Joe.
Luke Cornett,
And they're
Timmy,
going to lose.
he's played quality minutes this season, and he's been very productive. I just can't see him all of a sudden sitting once it comes playoff time.
Well, you can't play them
No,
both
he-
unless
he's-
somebody's
he's
injured,
so-
though, Scotty.
Yeah.
He's so thin. He's so thin against a big muscular guy. That's what worries me.
I don't know. I mean,
He's so thin.
there are certain teams that we played, quality teams that don't have much height.
Yeah, no, look, I
Yeah.
would play Cornette against Miami. You'd probably play Cornette. You could play Cornette against the Knicks. I think Joe's
Cavaliers.
right. It's a matchup thing. It's just purely a matchup thing. Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
remember,
if you got a 6'10" center in there, I'll put him in there.
if you remember the playoffs, it may have been the bubble against Toronto. Tice dominated. I had no answer for him. So, like you
I
said,
remember
Russ,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's going to be a matchup thing, but it just shows you how deep we are that a guy like Cornette and a guy like Tillman could be in play,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
kind of a change of pace. But like we've talked about before, at the very least, Tillman's going to help them get through this regular season.
Yeah, we've all seen
Mhm.
Cornette look very good out there, like he belongs. Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. At times, and we've seen times where he doesn't belong too.
Yeah. All right. Before we leave the Celtics, got to just say Lucas Herman has started a podcast, Celtics Cast. It's called.
I watched it.
So please check that out on YouTube. And he's talking the Celtics. And of course, he wants any grandstander willing to go on the show to come on. So he's learning from us. So it's very proud. We have.
I'm not sure he can afford us, Scotty.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, our daily fee is it's a
I'm
little
at least
steep.
I'm at least a plate of buffalo wings. I mean, nothing.
But I'd also like
that's
to give
that's where we started negotiations. Okay.
Yeah, right.
I'd also like to plug Draymond Green's podcast has been very good play. And I hate Draymond Green, but
Yeah,
I
is that
do like
right?
his podcast.
Well, yeah, I know Draymond.
The one
Green's
with Paul
podcast
Pierce
and
was excellent.
Lucas is
Get the Paul
competing
Pierce
against
one.
each other. So yeah. All right, boys, we're gonna go to the Red Sox, and I know how much you want to talk about them. But this breaking news from the Grandstanders live desk: Bayo has been signed to it looks like a 6-year deal, right?
Mhm.
7 because it's an option. Right?
7-year deal,
The
which you
Red
pick
Sox
up.
have an option on the 7th
And,
year.
and
Yeah.
next year doesn't
should we-
count,
should
so
we
it's
raise-
8 years, right?
Should we raise,
No, I'm wrong
should
about
we raise
that.
the pennants? Should we raise the pennants right
Yes,
now?
we should.
I mean-
Come on, I need more positivity, Timmy, from you.
No, this
I
does
need it.
nothing for me. This does
Come-
nothing for me. This is the
What's
guy
a
they already
big-
have on the roster. I want to see new stars on the roster. Nothing else is going to move the needle for me. Nothing.
It's just today.
No stars they can bring in now.
Today. We haven't had any good news since 21 when we took a 2-1 lead against the Astros. I mean,
I have nothing good to say about that. Zero.
Russell, I know you're positive, Russell. This is a good move. I mean,
Well, I mean, it's a good long-term move. And they finally did something that we've been saying that they should do, and Cassis should be next. But I mean, as we sit here now, we're actually down net 2 starting pitchers from last year.
I know.
We're 2 starting pitchers. So think about how crappy our starting
Last
rotation
year
was last year, and we're 2 rotation level pitchers worse this year.
Yeah.
We were doing 2 bullpen games a week last year.
Yeah.
What's it going to be, 3 or 4? It's
Look,
ridiculous.
this is the crazy thing about the Golito deal is that injury is that he's been pretty durable. He's been a guy that actually you could pencil in for 32 starts. Whether they'd be any good, who knows? So this was an injury that you didn't see coming. In fact, the Red Sox didn't even have insurance on him, so they're swallowing all that. I don't understand that.
Well-oiled machine over there.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Depend on Tanner Houck? I mean, this season could literally go. The season could be over before they ever get to Fenway on April 9th. And I'm not exaggerating.
I just bet the under.
I mean, they have 10 games. They opened up with 9 or 10 games on the road. 10 games, I think.
10 games on the road, all on the West Coast.
which they've always
Yeah.
historically always played for.
Seattle, LA, I forget who else they had
Um,
out there.
And
But
Breslow's
is the
Who's
rest of the
our-
league
games.
is the rest of the league this bad? I mean, are we on a
No,
normal?
of course
No.
not. Who's
Oh,
our
no,
second
no.
best starter? Who's our second starter?
I think it's Nick Pavetta who didn't start
Yeah.
last year.
No.
Cutter Crawford?
No, it's Pavetta.
Cutter Crawford.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crawford's probably 3. Whitlock and Hauk. Or I mean, what are we doing?
What are we doing? But you're not putting players in the right positions for them to succeed. We know now historically Whitlock is a reliever. He's not a starter. Hauk is a
Winkowski's a
reliever,
reliever.
not a starter. Remember, in addition to not being effective, they can't, as far as durability, handle being a starter. They get injured. This is what they are. So
Yep.
again, and Breslow's been so cheap. Well, Henry's been so cheap. They haven't even built up some depth in Worcester. I mean, this is going to be as bad as we imagine. I'm telling you, we're going to have predictions in a couple of weeks. I'm right now leaning to 100 losses.
And they and they raised the price of tickets.
I think this is going to be the worst team in our history, in the history of us.
Yeah. So how long we think happens with Cora if let's say they win 70 games, 70 between 70 and 75 games, which would be okay.
He takes
Do you
the
think-
job of someone else. He quits.
Does he get fired during the year? Does he play out the whole year? Like what are we doing here with Cora?
Well, Russell,
Guys, no
Russell,
chance to manage
Russell,
a winning team.
Who do they have left to blame it on? They always have to blame somebody.
True. Yeah.
Sam
it's true.
Kennedy? Does Sam Kennedy go? He's a
No.
partner now. And
He's got
the
3 or 4
sports
guys in front of him that he can
he's
sacrifice.
untouchable now, though, right? Because he's a partner,
Mhm.
right? So he can't.
Yeah.
He's untouchable. He's
With
I mean,
SSG,
you think he'd be the next to blame, right? They always cast the blame on somebody.
If he goes if they come home 1-9, they're going to fire him right there and then.
And he'd be happy because he
Yeah.
seems to want to go to another job anyways.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll trade him to another team.
What are the
It's like
what are
getting,
the
it's
odds?
like getting hired as a salesman, and you have the worst product on the
Yeah.
market, and at the highest price that you have to sell.
He'll be
That's about-
hired in 35 seconds if once the Red Sox fire him.
Oh, yeah,
35 seconds.
Really? See,
Yes,
He
Explain
has
that
a
to me.
very
Really, I
good
don't see that.
reputation
Based
around
on what?
the baseball.
35 seconds.
based on
just
what?
based on some success, obviously, but based on he's great with the media. He was in the media. He's a smooth talker. He meets all the requirements. Obviously, the Astros thing, but he's like Teflon. That rolled right off of him, pretty much.
Do you think Alex Cora is a good game day manager, Joe?
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
90% of his decisions. I don't second guess him too much. Now,
My issue with
his
Cora was
third
just
base
that-
coach was.
My issue with Cora was just how shitty the defense was all last year. Like that's ultimately on the manager, right?
Right. So Timmy, he doesn't even want to be here anymore. He knows that this year is going to be horrific. Last year was terrible. The year before was terrible, and 25 is going to be terrible. He's going to want to shoot himself out of town as quick as possible, right?
Well, he knows if he knows there's a market for his skills, why wouldn't he? Right?
He wouldn't sign a contract with the Red Sox. This is last year, unless they either give him a lot of money or make some big changes. He's gone.
See, this is the difference, guys. If this was the NBA or the NFL, we'd kind of be happy in the sense that we'd be like, okay, we're tanking this year. We'll get the number 1 pick we could possibly get the number 1 pick in the draft and change things, right? But baseball doesn't work that way. In fact,
Well, it helps a little
baseball-
bit. Like they will get a better pick. They got that pick where they took Mayer.
Tampa Bay built wagons by having the top picks.
The
in there, right?
Astros and the Orioles built their teams that way.
They don't get
I
your
know,
boy
but this is
Mayer.
not
what
how
do we like?
fans think.
What do we?
This is not how
What
you
pick?
think.
What pick do we have
Right.
this year? Like the 12th or the 15th?
12th,
or
yeah,
something?
12th, 13th, yeah. 12th, I think, yeah. Just so you know, there's a lottery now in baseball. a draft
there
lottery,
is?
and Cleveland got the number 1 pick in the draft, and they were like the 6th worst team.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that, Scotty.
so there is a lottery now.
Scotty,
What is it, up
what are
to
what are the
18?
odds? Anybody know the odds for Veritek to be the next manager?
Oh
You
my
think it's
God.
under 10-1?
Oh, is there odds
It's probably under 10-1.
if they even you can get the
He'll go
back?
to that little shrine in the corner there.
Oh, that may be the biggest moment in the history of the Grandstanders when Jason Varitek is announced as the manager of the Red Sox. I think it changes everything for all of us.
The
I mean,
hat will come out of mothballs.
I think we'll all be taller, thinner. Just life will change for us. It's going to happen. It may happen by opening day. That's me.
Have the seamstresses been notified?
You can't get over it. All right, Jason is a little heavy, but he'll slim up once he becomes manager of the Boston Red Sox. And then you'll give me credit for predicting it, right?
When he brings them to the World Series this year?
Look, what is
Yeah, they could be the miracle team.
what is the plan? Seriously.
I just thought that the Scotty, I was just gonna say that. What is the plan? What could possibly
The plan,
Other than-
I think I think the plan is lose a lot of games this year, get a high pick, hire your own. Breslow hires his own manager, and all of a sudden, in August and September, these kids start to matriculate to the big league roster, and you're selling kids plus probably some free agents next year.
But Russ, we're middle of the pack on talent, even in the farm system. It's not like we have the top 5 draft picks from the last 5 years who were all gangbusters ready to go. We're just like every other team out there.
No, we've got
They've got some
big
top. They've got
prospects.
some top end.
Yeah.
They've got some big
Well,
prospects.
no,
They've got
wait,
some
they-
top
they-
end talent.
We're rated middle of the pack, though, right?
For overall depth, but they've got like between Mayer and Anthony and Teal, and not even counting York, they've got 3 guys that they think are
But
going to
no
be big
pitching.
league players.
No
They have no
pitching.
pitching.
None.
No pitching.
That's
No,
why
no.
they're hiring. That's why they hired Breslow, and he hired a pitching guy, and they hired that company that does things, and they brought in a bunch of veteran catchers to work with these kids down there. They got to start developing arms.
But Russ, you make a good point. Since the draft is different now, these guys are such studs. These players coming out of the draft, and
Yeah.
they go up into these systems, the
They get there
holidays, the
fast.
seeds and stuff. They
2-3
raise
years.
up this system in a
Yeah.
year or two. And,
Yeah.
there's these top 10 picks aren't spending a lot of time in the minor leagues moving forward. These
I
guys
mean, could
are
you see same Mayer bounces back? Is he up in August, September?
where are you going to
Yeah,
put?
Story's going to get hurt. Bring him up.
Yeah, Story. You move Story back to second. You don't play him every day. Maybe. What about Roman Anthony? Roman Anthony has a great first half in Portland. Does he come up?
I think Anthony's going to be the first guy up.
Yeah,
And then
I don't think the
Teal-
catcher is. I mean, catchers
No.
they've got to bake.
No.
But
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited about those 3 guys. Seriously. I mean, no, really, it's exciting with Cassis and stuff. But this is going to be this is going to be the worst team that we've ever had, and it didn't have to be this way.
And
Can't wait.
some of the
Can't
pitchers that they're wheeling out there right now are going to get hurt right away. That happens every year.
Story's already
So
got hurt.
we're going to have to go even further back in the depth. Like probably 20% of these guys will be on the shelf in the first month and a half.
I have to be honest with you, and I want to ask if you guys, and I follow the minor league system. I don't know any AAA pitcher for the Boston Red, starting pitcher for the Boston
Not
Red
one.
Sox. I don't
Not
even
one.
know their names.
Nope.
No, so I don't even know where they're going when these guys get hurt to fill innings.
Wasn't Heim supposed to be building up the minor league system in the last 4 years? What was he doing? No pitching at all.
No pitching.
Even in Double A.
Yep. This is going to be quite an embarrassment. And they're praying so hard on Jersey Street for the Boston Celtics to win a championship and to
Right.
distract us
Go on.
till late June. I'm telling you. And then, of course, they want the Patriots to get a top quarterback in the draft so that we can then go into training camp in August. So it's just like we'll look at them 4th of July and that'll be it. And that's how it's going to be. And I'm so depressed. All right, we're gonna go to
By the way,
Bruins.
by the way, this might be a system-wide thing in Fenway Sports Group. Tim, you probably noticed this is the first year that the Penguins have been going to be out of the
I
playoffs
think I just saw
and selling
something.
at the deadline.
Yeah, they just made a trade
Yeah,
They
they're
trade Crosby?
selling.
just 2 seconds ago.
They trade Crosby?
No,
No,
Trade
that's
their
a
bread and
rumor.
butter.
No, that's the rumor.
That would be Pittsburgh would burn.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's the rumor that they're going to trade him.
Hey, if the Bruins could trade Ray Bork, the Penguins could trade Sidney Crosby.
You
Okay,
get
we're
a
going.
fortune from any Canadian team. From any Canadian team, he's a national hero.
Okay, we're talking Bruins, and guys, we've seen this the whole season. They can't win a close game. They
You
blow
know what's weird,
leads.
Scotty? That Edmonton game, the Bruins favored to play the whole game. But you knew when they went up 1-0, you knew that it was going overtime. You knew. And even
But
though they
this is-
carried the play, they went to this shell in the last 3 minutes of the game. I don't know what it is. And well, I do know what it is because I play the game. You're just desperate to get the puck out of the zone. You stop going offense and you just keep trying to stay out of danger. And,
How
and
can
that
we not blame
backfired.
Montgomery for this? This is 2 years in a row. How can Montgomery not be blamed for this? This is poor coaching.
Well, I will say this: it's a really young team. It's a really young team.
Yeah, you can blame
Yeah.
last year's team on him, but this is like half the team is rookies practically.
I'll tell you, it hit me
No,
when
I
I
don't
met
know.
all the players. This is a team full of kids, and I think that it's a young team, and they get nervous.
that young.
They get. I don't know. It's a lot of young guys. They get nervous protecting that lead. You can just see it in them. You
Their
know?
defensive course, except for Lowry, is experienced.
They're all
That-
veterans, yeah.
All veterans. I mean, I wouldn't.
What-
Boyle, Marshall.
Well, what happens is
I
the
don't
offense.
know.
The offense stops playing offensively. You know, and
They stop
and-
passing to each other and just knock it out of the zone.
yeah,
Would
they
you be
stop going-
shocked-
They stop going on offense. What do they say? The best defense is an offense, right? They stop their offensive play, and they just settle for getting it out of the zone, and
They-
then it just allows the other team to just reload and come back and keep going. But
If
they
they-
carried the play. They carried the play against a very, very good Edmonton team,
Yeah.
and should have won that game.
Lots of
The
shit.
next game against Toronto, they were great.
Does Montgomery go if they get eliminated in the first round again?
No, I hope he doesn't because I think
They'll give him a third year. But he's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
If they go out early, he'll be on the hot seat for year 3. That's for
I
sure.
don't think it benefits this team though to have a revolving door coach. I don't. I think Montgomery's capable of learning and evolving, and I don't know if they want
Okay.
him if they're patient enough. But this was not supposed to be, this is supposed to be like
A
regular
first round
year.
out
We've-
year.
We've done okay so far. I mean, they're in every game. They're in every game. They're typically leading every game. They just can't seem to close them out. It's bizarre. It's like I think it's NHL record-setting bizarre, right?
They've lost 15 overtime games. 15 they've lost. Now there's one other team. I think New Jersey's lost 14. That's
They must have shattered the record for losing leads in the last 3 minutes.
with
They must
empty
have-
nets. With the empty
Shattered.
net.
Oh,
Yeah.
they hit the post with the empty net.
Six- Yeah. Five.
He was almost
6
in
on
alone,
5.
and here was the game. The game was going to be sealed and hit the post.
Lots of excitement. If this was baseball or basketball, we would be so excited with as many trades that have been made in the NHL in the last day or two. It's incredible movement, which leads me to believe, Russell, that a lot of teams think this is their window to win a Stanley Cup. I'm talking about 10 to 12 teams that legitimately think they
Yeah.
have a chance. Is Allmark, and I guess the deadline is tomorrow. Could Allmark's value
Yeah.
never be higher than right now.
I would, I know Timmy disagrees, but if someone came in and gave me like a really, really good offer for Allmark, considering he's only got one more year here and Swayman's your goalie of the future, I'd listen to it.
I'd like,
Well,
I'd
Russell,
prefer to
the
get rid
argument
of
against that
Grizzlick
is-
and DeBrusque right now. They're not gonna re-sign those two. So why not sell them at the deadline?
But is that two-headed goalie monster the only reason you have a shot at the championship?
That is definitely the best argument against it. And I don't know, but like,
And
if
there
you-
is no
to
juggernaut
Joe's-
team. There's no juggernaut team out
Right.
there.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't
historically,
know. I
when is the last time a team has won the Stanley Cup rotating goalies in the
I mean,
playoffs?
I think that's the reason they're in these games. That's the
But
reason.
has that even ever happened? That a team has won a Stanley Cup with rotating goalies?
Well,
during-
here's the thing, we
They
blamed-
blew it in '71 when they rotated Eddie Johnson instead of
Well,
Jerry Stevens.
but what was our biggest criticism of Montgomery in the playoffs last year is that he didn't rotate the goalies.
Didn't rotate. You got it.
Right.
Okay.
But he went with Allmark. Right.
All right. Well, here's the question. This
Scotty, if someone came at me with a boatload of first, I would have to say, like, I would be thinking past this year if I'm getting rid of Allmark. Like, I'm not doing something that's gonna bolster this year because I think keeping Allmark is our best. I don't know who could come in here that would that dramatically increase us having a chance to be better than, like, significantly better than we are right now. If someone came in with like 2 or 3 first-round draft picks, then I might listen.
What's the deal with DeBrusque and going for Lindholm? Is this his Lindholm's brother?
I think it is. But
There's like 4 million
DeBrusque
Lindholms
is just
in
going to be a
Sweden.
rental.
Is he even an
That-
upgrade?
He's not going. They're not getting Lindholm for Jake DeBrusque. Like, who the hell thinks that's going to happen?
Because Lindholm's still got time on his contract, and DeBrusque is done after this year.
That's the craziest rumor I've
That's
ever
why
heard.
I say sell DeBrusque and Grizzlick. See what you get at the deadline, because you're not going to re-sign him for next year, and I don't think they're going to help you win this year either.
Well, we found out you can never have enough depth in the defensive core, right, Timmy? I mean, during the course of the playoffs, you're going to wish you had Grizzlick if you get rid of him.
Someone's
yeah, but Grizzlick's
going
the
down.
first guy hurt every year.
All right, we're going to
Get
go
off an
around.
injury, right?
All right, this is it because it's what, less than 24 hours. Timmy, Allmark, stay or go?
Stay.
Joe,
He stays.
Russell?
Oh, I don't think they're going to trade Allmark, and I think DeBrusque is gone. I think
Yeah.
they've done. I think they've had it. with
DeBrusque
him.
is just too inconsistent. You don't know if he's going to show up or not.
A forward can be just judged by his points. You judge them by their points. That's it.
Yep.
Do you think DeBrusque goes for like a 3rd round pick?
Who knows? Backup defenseman. I don't know. I'm done. I'm done hoping that he
I'm
snaps
fine
out of
with
it.
it. You get a prospect and 2 for Grizzlick and him. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, give me some top prospect. I'd be psyched on that. Some really high-end prospect. That'd be
Someone
good.
you have control over for the, financially for the next 3 or 2 or
Some
3
kid
years.
lighting it up in the U.S. Can call or whatever. Lighten up the world. I'll take that.
Hey, and
Alright.
DeBrusque, sometimes, a change of scenery. He's the kind of guy a change of scenery would probably do good.
He's got talent. He's got
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah, he'll
he's
end up
good-
in Edmonton with his father. You
And the
watch.
absolute crazy thing is, we're saying all this, and the Bruins are 3 points from having the best record in the NHL, and we're basically saying they should sell. Like when you say
Yes.
get prospects for Grizzlick and DeBrusque, we're basically saying you sell.
Well,
But
you know what I
do
think is
you really
driving us
think the
crazy?
playoffs would be there? With the way they've last year too, with the late game stuff, that doesn't bode well for the playoffs.
No. That's
Yeah,
exactly.
I think if they were just losing games rather than losing them the way they're losing them, it drives you
Well,
crazy.
but let me offer a counterpoint here. The Bruins have lost 13 games in regulation, which is 3 less than the next team. In the playoffs, overtime's different.
Yeah.
It's 5-on-5, right? They're losing these overtime games on 4-on-4s and shootouts.
3-on-3s, yeah.
3-on-3s and shootouts. You don't get
Yeah.
3-on-3s and shootouts in the playoffs. They've only lost 13 games all year in regulation.
Right. No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that makes a difference. Yeah.
Right?
Why? Because of their goal. Why? Because
Yeah,
of their
they're a
goal.
defensive team.
You might be right, Timmy. Like maybe that's the point. Maybe is, hey, we're gonna play sudden death overtime 5-on-5 in the playoffs if we're tied, and we bank on having the 2 best goalies in the league.
We
Maybe
have
that's
2
why.
of the best 5 goalies in the league, and
Yeah, you
you're
can
gonna get one of
picture
them every night.
you can picture a 7-game series having 5 overtime games with the Bruins.
But
Yep.
none will be 3-on-3.
Yeah.
Not one.
Right.
Where they get outskated and outclassed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
their number one line doesn't match up with a lot of the premier lines out there.
Oh, you know, I
Yep.
was watching the Oilers power play. My God. When we
Draisaitl.
texted about the 3-on-3. I mean,
Oh, that was
Draisaitl-
That was
How'd you
shooting
like to
fish
see-
in a barrel, the
I'd
3-on-3.
like to be that one defenseman back there on the faceoff going, oh, who's that? You know?
the thing about the Bruins won. They won a 3-on-3 against Edmonton in Edmonton.
Yeah.
I know.
How did that happen?
Did you see some
Oh,
stat
wow.
on McDavid? He has like 29 assists in like the last 11 games or something like that.
Yeah, he
Oh.
hasn't been shooting the puck. He's been passing it over to Draisaitl. Draisaitl's scoring goals right and
He's
left.
bored. That guy's bored. He's so freaking good. All right, boys. Well,
What
that's
can
our
he
show.
skate?
That's our show for tonight. I want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Thursday night at 7 o'clock for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
Mhm.
Russell?